Do you know that your heart can pump about 5 liters of blood every minute, which is enough to fill a large swimming pool in a day? That's impressive, right? The heart is responsible for pumping blood throughout our body, delivering oxygen and nutrients to every cell and tissue. And it also helps remove waste products and carbon dioxide from our body. It is simply the most important organ in our body. Without the heart, we would not be able to survive. But did you know that some of the things you do every day could be harming your heart without you even realizing it? In this video, we will share with you 8 daily habits that can damage your heart if you don't stop them. Make sure you watch the video until the end, as the last habit will probably surprise you. Let's get started. Number 1. Skipping breakfast. You may have heard that breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and actually, there is some truth to that. Skipping breakfast can have negative consequences for our heart health, especially if we have other risk factors for cardiovascular disease. According to a study from Harvard School of Public Health, men who regularly skipped breakfast had a 27% higher risk of heart attack or death from coronary heart disease than those who did eat a morning meal. The researchers suggested that skipping breakfast may lead to overeating later in the day, which can cause weight gain and increase blood sugar levels. The researchers also found that skipping breakfast was linked to other unhealthy behaviors, such as eating too many calories and too much sugar, not exercising enough, and smoking more. Skipping breakfast may also disrupt our circadian rhythm, which is your body clock, which can affect our metabolism and hormone levels. So, to start your day right, eat a balanced breakfast that includes whole grains, fruits or vegetables, lean protein, and healthy fats. Number 2. Eating too much salt. Salt is a mineral that our body needs for various functions, such as nerve and muscle activity and fluid balance. However, too much salt can cause problems for our heart and blood vessels. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, high sodium consumption can raise blood pressure, which is a major risk factor for heart disease and stroke. When we eat too much salt, our body retains more fluid, which increases the volume and pressure of blood in our arteries. This can strain the walls of the arteries, making them more prone to damage and narrowing. Over time, this can lead to atherosclerosis, which is hardening of the arteries, coronary artery disease, which is blockage of the arteries that supply blood to the heart attack, stroke, or heart failure. So how much salt is too much? Well, the American Heart Association recommends limiting our sodium intake to no more than 2,300 milligrams per day, which is about 1 teaspoon of salt. However, most Americans consume much more than that, averaging about 3,400 milligrams per day, which is almost 50% more than the recommended limit. So where does all this salt come from? You may think that it's mostly from the salt shaker on your table, but actually, most of the sodium we consume is from processed and restaurant foods. Foods like bread, cheese, pizza, soup, salad dressing, snacks, and fast food are often high in sodium. Even foods that don't taste salty can have a lot of sodium hidden in them. For example, a slice of frozen cheese pizza can have between 370 milligrams and 730 milligrams of sodium. A cheeseburger from a fast food restaurant can have between 710 milligrams and 1,690 milligrams. That's why it's important to read nutrition labels and compare sodium content across different brands and products. To reduce your salt intake, try to choose fresh or frozen fruits and vegetables instead of canned or processed ones. If you do use canned or processed foods, rinse them well before eating or cooking to remove some of the sodium. Also, cook at home more often and use herbs, spices, vinegar, lemon juice, or other flavorings instead of salt. Finally, limit processed meats like bacon, ham, sausage, and deli meats. These are often high in sodium and saturated fat, which are both bad for your heart. Before we move on, if you have been enjoying the video so far, hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss our future videos. Now let's get back to the video. Number 3. Sitting too much. Many of us live a sedentary lifestyle where we spend most of our time sitting at desks, watching TV, or scrolling on our phones. However, this lack of physical activity can harm our heart health in many ways. Sitting too much can lower our good HDL cholesterol levels, raise our blood sugar levels, increase our waist circumference and body fat percentage, and finally impair our blood flow. All these factors can increase the risk of cardiovascular disease and other chronic diseases. According to a large review of studies published in 2015, sitting for more than 8 hours a day with no physical activity can raise your risk of cardiovascular disease by 14% and your risk of an early death by 40%. The American Heart Association recommends breaking up long periods of sitting with short periods of physical activity throughout the day. For example, you can stand up and stretch every hour, take the stairs instead of the elevator, walk around during phone calls or meetings, or park farther away from your destination. Also, if you can, try to get at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity aerobic activity or 75 minutes of vigorous intensity aerobic activity per week. Number 4. Sleeping too little or too much. Getting enough quality sleep is essential for our heart health as well as our mental and emotional well-being. Sleeping too little or too much can affect our hormones, metabolism, immune system, and mood, which can all have negative impacts on our cardiovascular health. A study in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology found that people who slept less than 6 hours or more than 10 hours per night had a higher risk of death from cardiovascular diseases than those who slept 7 to 8 hours per night. The researchers also found that poor sleep quality increased the risk of cardiovascular disease regardless of sleep duration. To improve your sleep quality and quantity, try to follow a regular sleep schedule. Avoid caffeine, alcohol, and nicotine before bedtime. Limit screen time and exposure to bright light at night. Create a comfortable and quiet sleeping environment. And finally, practice relaxation techniques such as meditation or breathing exercises. Number 5. Smoking cigarettes. This one is probably obvious, but smoking is one of the worst things you can do for your heart. Smoking damages the lining of your arteries, increases your blood pressure and heart rate, and makes your blood more likely to clot. Smoking also reduces the amount of oxygen that reaches your heart and other organs, which can lead to a heart attack or stroke. According to the American Heart Association, smoking is responsible for about 1 in 5 deaths from cardiovascular disease in the United States. If you smoke, quitting is the best thing you can do for your heart and your overall health. There are many resources and programs available to help you quit, such as nicotine patches, gums, medications, counseling, and support groups. Number 6. Drinking too much alcohol. Moderate alcohol consumption may have some benefits for our heart health, such as raising our good HDL cholesterol levels and preventing blood clots. However, drinking too much alcohol can have the opposite effect. Excessive alcohol intake can increase our blood pressure and triglyceride levels, damage our heart muscle, cause irregular heartbeats, and contribute to obesity and diabetes. The American Heart Association defines moderate alcohol consumption as no more than 1 drink per day for women and 2 drinks per day for men. 1 drink is equivalent to 12 ounces of beer, 5 ounces of wine, or 1.5 ounces of liquor. So if you drink alcohol, do so in moderation and avoid binge drinking. Number 7. Stressing too much. Stress is inevitable in our modern life, but too much of it can take a toll on our heart health. Stress can trigger our fight or flight response, which releases hormones such as adrenaline and cortisol that increase our heart rate, blood pressure, and blood sugar levels. Chronic stress can also lead to unhealthy behaviors such as smoking, drinking, overeating, or skipping exercise, which can further damage our heart health. Stress can also affect our mental health and cause anxiety, depression, or anger, which can all increase the risk of cardiovascular disease. To cope with stress in a healthy way, try to identify and avoid the sources of stress in your life, or change your attitude and perception towards them. You can also practice stress management techniques such as physical activity, meditation, yoga, music therapy, massage therapy, or seek social support. Number 8. Ignoring your dental health. You may not think that your teeth and gums have anything to do with your heart, but they actually do. Poor dental hygiene can lead to periodontitis, which is an infection and inflammation of the tissues that support your teeth. Gum disease can cause bacteria to enter your bloodstream and trigger an immune response that can damage your blood vessels and increase the risk of cardiovascular disease. A study published in the journal Circulation found that people with gum disease have a 2 to 3 times higher risk of cardiovascular disease than those without gum disease. The researchers also found that treating gum disease improved the blood vessel function and reduced the inflammation markers in people with cardiovascular disease. So, to prevent gum disease and protect your heart health, brush your teeth twice a day with fluoride toothpaste and floss daily. Also, rinse your mouth with an antiseptic mouthwash. Visit your dentist regularly for checkups and cleanings, and avoid tobacco products. So, these were the 8 daily habits that can damage your heart and how you can avoid them. By making these simple changes in your lifestyle, you can improve your heart health and reduce your risk of cardiovascular disease. So, are you guilty of some of these habits? Share your experience with us below in the comments. Thanks for watching.